Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I am here today with a brand new project for you guys. This is the Christmas Advent bookcase, and as you can see, it's a supersized project. I think you can see all the little treats on the top already. What happens here is this opens up like this. Ooh, here we go. Okay, and reveals all the books, and these are all numbered because they come off, and each book is a box. Like that. So we've got two different sizes of boxes. We've got these little shorter, fatter ones, and then these taller, skinnier ones here. And I put vintage Christmas book covers here on all these books. So you can create a little advent calendar with little treats inside of it, a little maybe candy or sticker or even a little washi tape or something like that in there, a note, and you can put this together and you will have a entire like lead up to Christmas, so 24 days worth of treats in here, and it's completely functional and usable and super fun to decorate. So what I'm going to do now, I forgot to mention, this is in my shop. And the link to purchase it will be in the description below. Make sure you use the Black Friday code so that you get the superior discount on this guy. But yeah, so it's in my shop, and I'm going to go through here. It's going to be the same as the Halloween one. It is a 3-video tutorial. So I will link the playlist in the description below. I will put the playlist in the printable kit for this project, and then you'll have access to that, and then you can just kind of go through it and put this whole thing together. So without further, oh no, I knocked over my candles. Sorry. Okay, without further ado, I will let's jump into making this thing. Let's go through the printables really quickly so you know what you're dealing with and you can recognize all of the pieces as we go through the assembly. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you here are the book boxes. These are the outside of the boxes. These are the shorter, smaller ones here. Okay, and you'll notice there's 5 books on this page. There's 5 drawers on this page. Okay, so basically this piece is here and this piece is here. So with this whole situation, you're going to need to print 2 of this for both of these. Okay, so I put 5 and 5 so it would match. Okay, these are optional drawer pulls, and I will show you those when we do assembly. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, these are the bigger books. I'm going to have to get a bigger book here. Here we go. Here's one. All right, so these are the bigger ones, and they are 4 to a page. Okay, so for the bigger books, there's 1 page of plain books. All the other books have actual book covers on them, like vintage book covers on them. So you'll see this one's here. So there are actually 4 pages of this one. And you'll notice there are 4 of these on here. So you just need to print 4 of this, or you need to print 1 page of this for every page of this. 1 page of the 5 for every page of the 5. So basically, you can kind of do your own math on those, but they're set up so that they print the right number together, right? So if you print these 2 pages, you'll have enough to create, you know, all of these books. Now, these are the normal books. These are the books that are the regular ones that go in, like we've made previously, in the haunted bookshelf. So we'll make a couple of these as well because these are great for decoration. You may have stickers or something else that you want to use that may be easier. Go for it. This is here if you need it, and you can just cut out the pieces you need and forget the rest, okay? But these are just, you know, just because it's fun to have these tiny little labels to stick on the books, stick on the book boxes, just to decorate them a little bit. It's kind of fun, so. Okay, these are the presents. Okay, now there's lots of fussy cuts in this, and I did something in this kit that has been requested. I thought this would be a good kit for me to kind of try it out, right?
I did mirror images of these pages, okay? So when you cut these out, what you can do, if you want, you can glue these back to back and they'll be the same on both sides, okay? So you could print these out, and I'll show you this, you know, when we make it. But if you want to have double-sided ephemera that looks the same, this will do it, okay? So I mirror imaged these 2 pages and these 2 pages. I thought, you know, if you wanted to have a wreath to hang up or something like that, that would be nice for this here. Okay, another tiny ephemera page, but this is an important one. These are all your greeting cards. These are your cookies for Santa. And then these are some flowers. And these are your numbers for your spines of all of your books. Okay, I did 31 because if you're not using this for an advent calendar, if you're using it for something else, you might want to have 31 days for December. Or if you want to use this for another month in the year and not have it be a Christmassy situation, you've got numbers for the maximum number of days possible in a month. Okay, and you've got, okay, so I mentioned the cookies, the flowers, we'll go through all of that. And then there's 2 pages of collage stuff. Because this is going to be a double bookcase, I'm not going to use these, but if you're making a single bookcase, I thought you might want to collage your outside. So I thought I'd throw these in just to have them. You can always use them for something else, or you can just not use them at all. All right, so now we're getting to the bookcase itself here. Okay, so because the outside of the bookcase, as you saw, has you can have images on it because it's going to open and close. There are a set, I think, of 8 images here for you to pick from. I tried to make them so that you could pick 2 different images if you wanted to, and they would still kind of match. Okay, obviously really into the trees situation here. But we've got like a little fireplace with some stockings and a Christmas tree. These would look really nice on either side. I have a plain Christmas tree too, so you could go simple on one side or you could go busier on the other. And then this is kind of more of like, I thought this would be like a nice little Yule type situation if you are celebrating Yule instead. So anyway, and then if you want, you can just have plain green. So that's this here. And that would be like more if you were going to collage over yours or you just didn't want to have anything fancy on the back. Okay, so these are the actual bookcase pieces here. Okay, so you're going to need, I'm going to put a printing guide in here for this. For 1 bookcase, you need 2 of these, but for 2 bookcases, you're going to need to double that, okay? So you'll need 4, you'll need 4, you'll need 4, okay? And then you'll need 2 of the normal pieces. Okay, so now we're just going to do quickly the background papers. I have 2 text background papers. One is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. The other one is A Christmas Carol. And those are just so, if you want to have some, if you want to have this for the text inside of your books that look like these books, the ones that just, I used book pages in mine, but you could use this instead if you don't have any book pages. And then I just have an assortment, these are upside down, of pages here for just for you to use to do whatever you want with them. If these are for backs, for backing, I definitely have these upside down. And then this is the one I used for the back of the bookcase. So I thought you might want to have that too. Okay, so that's the entire situation. Now we're going to hop into making some stuff. We're going to start by building our bookcases. Okay, so we need to build 2 bookcases for this project. So that means that you need, I'm just going to go quickly over this so you know exactly what you need to print. Okay, so you need to print 2 sides for each bookcase. So that means you're going to need 4 of this piece, 4 of this piece right here, 4 of this piece, and 4 of this piece. Now these 2 are on the same page, okay? So the only piece that you need, you only need 1 of is the back piece And then you also need to pick, if you want to, you have two options here. For the outside of the bookcase, you could do just the plain green, and that's included in the kit. Or you can choose one of the images that I already showed you when we did the little flip through. But these are the images that I've chosen for the outside of my bookcase. So I'm going to put one on the back and one on the front. So that's what I'm going to do with these two. You could also do just plain green if you want plain green. It's in the kit. Otherwise, you could pick any of the other illustrations that are in there as well. Whatever kind of speaks to you. You may want to do an image on the front, just plain green on the back, which is, you know, lots of options. You can make lots of bookcases and they can all look different. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'm going to assemble the bases of each, okay, and then we'll do the shelves of each. Okay, I unclipped this one, so I'm going to clip that back together because I'm just trying to keep all my parts and pieces together here so I can know what I'm doing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is for each bookcase, we're going to start with the sides. Okay, now we're going to glue each flap to the back here. Okay, and you're just going to glue white to white here. You don't need to double side the printing on this part because nobody's going to see the inside of your bookcase. Okay, so I'm going to do everything here twice. So hopefully that will help if you've never put one of these together before. If you have, then you can just fast forward me. All right, so basically what we want to do is put the white side to the white side and right up to the crease there, but not over it. And then just try to make sure you're kind of centered top to bottom there. And everything folds over just fine. Okay, and then we're going to do this here. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to do the top and the bottom pieces. And then I'll go over and I'll do the second bookcase just so that we're not trying to do too many things all at once here. Okay, so I'm going to put the top piece on here. It helps if you can see, because you can kind of see to make sure that everything's kind of lined up in the right spot, which is why I'm doing it like this, because then I can see if my lines are lined up. All right, now we're going to do the other side. Just make sure that that's good. Okay. And it's the same thing. I just want to get good coverage on there so that everything stays together. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to try to line everything up, get that nice and close. And then I'm just going to put the pressure down on that. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy aside for 1 second, and then we're going to do our other one here. Okay, so we got our back here. We're going to do our sides again. Same deal. Alright, and then I'm just going to put this on the back here. And just slide it right up to the edge of that. Oops. I just don't want to go over it. There you go. And then I'm going to go ahead and do it. Oops, there's a piece of paper stuck to the back of that one. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing here. So just right up to the edge here. Just try to make sure you got it centered top to bottom. Oops. Just to make sure I didn't go, I thought I went over there for a second there, but I think it's going to be okay. All right, and let's do our top one. That just goes right on there. And then we're going to do the same thing around this way. And here we go with this. And just make sure it's not too close to the end there. I want to make sure I can get a good fold right there. Okay. All right, there we go with that one. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to do our sides here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do is we are first going to do our little tabs, okay? And then we are going to do the end pieces. Okay, so first the sides and then the either end, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put glue here. You could also put it on the flap. I have been experimenting with like what's the best way to do this. And I do think having the glue on the actual side there is really helpful in getting this kind of to do what you want it to do there. Okay, so what you want to do is just kind of use your fingers to kind of feel it out and make sure that your corners are lined up. Just want to make sure everything. And then once you feel like you've got it all lined up, you can put a little pressure on it to get everything all set. All right, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay. Having the glue on the like kind of, I always think of this as the wall side, but it just really helps with the adhesion. It doesn't depend just solely on the glue on the tabs. Okay, so those, just set those up, and then I'm just going to use my thumbs to bring this right up here. And I'm just going to make sure everything's lined up. For whatever reason, one side's usually lined up and then one side's usually crooked. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but you know, here we go. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to roll up these sides and we're just going to glue them down here, okay? Now, the bend here, you'll feel it hit the edge here when it's in place, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and put glue here. The most important is the glue here. I'm going to put glue here too. I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but this is what we're depending on to kind of make sure our shelf side here stays straight. Okay, so you'll feel this hit the back. And then when you feel it hit the back, you know you've got it in the right place. And then you're gonna just hold it down a little bit until your glue grabs. And try to resist the urge to mess with it. I have a hard time resisting the urge to mess with it, but the less you mess with it, the quicker the glue is gonna set, and you know, everything will be fine. And we have various redundancies here, so you know, if you want to add a little bit of extra glue under there or whatever, but your whole thing will be glued down. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and glue here. This is the part that we want glued down to the actual bookcase. And actually, I'm going to try this time. Like, I thought about it last time and I didn't do it. I'm just going to put glue down on here as well. And then see if that, oops, I should put it here too. Okay, and then I'm just going to roll this down and then push it into place. There's like a point at which it just kind of, you know, you'll just feel it go in and you'll know. I did make a mess with the glue right there. All right, that looks good. So let's go ahead and do this one. This one's going to roll over here just like this. Now, I would recommend, and I'm going to show you right now, inking this spot right here on either side of this, just because it shows up white, and I don't want like a white seam on there. So you really only need to do this like one corner piece. And then that, when it comes over, it won't be so obvious. And then I'm also going to go ahead and ink brown around my whole thing once it's together, and then just to get rid of any like little white areas or whatever that might show up. Sometimes you see them on the corners here. It just kind of depends on how you cut things, you know, if there's like a little bit of white on the edge. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to roll this whole thing over. And then I'm just going to push it until I feel it hit the back. I forgot to put the glue. I think it did make, like, I think it helped to put the glue down on the back. I'm just going to hold that for a second. Okay, seems pretty good. Okay, now let's do the same thing on this side, and then we will get the other one and do that one. And then we'll have both of our bookcases assembled. So that is going to be some nice quick work here, considering like it probably, I'm just trying to think if it took me longer to, oh, I forgot to check my corners here. If it took me longer to cut and fold everything, but I don't think it, oh, I'm sorry, it didn't, I don't think it did. It didn't take me that long to do all this part. It only took me a long time because I've made like 5 of these. So this is like, after a while you're like, oh gosh, again, but, alright, that feels really good actually. So I'm just going to put a little pressure, not too much pressure, just enough. I'm just going to make sure it's against the back there, and that the actual glue is
adhering to the back of the bookcase. So the easiest one to do is this one because it's the last one. So, all right, I'm going to put this guy aside and I'm going to grab my other one and we're just going to do the same thing again. All right, there we go with that one. This one I did remember, I did ink it already. All right, so I'm going to start with my side. Oh, I'm going to start with my side tabs. I always want to just go and do the whole side. But let's start with the side tabs first. And then here. I'll tell you what, I have been burning through the glue the last couple of weeks with the paper. Sorry about that. The last couple of weeks with all the projects that we've done for November. It's been crazy. We did a lot of stuff though. Okay, so here we go. Just gonna get that lined up there on the corner. Make sure that my corners are reasonably square there. I'm just gonna press down on that. Make sure that looks okay. I think it does. All right, let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on the tabs as well. And then we'll have a really nice solid structure here when we're done. I'm just going to tip this over so I can just get a good look at the sides. I said one side's always fine and then one side's always crooked. So we'll figure on that one. Okay, I'm just going to look at that. All right, and then once you're happy with everything, we'll move on to the next step, which is going to be the sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue down here. I'm going about one stripe in. Okay, and then also glue on here. Alright, now that I have all that on there, I'm going to fold this under and then just push it back. You got to have that one back flap so it's folded up or else it'll give you a little problem like it just gave me. So that the secondary flap, the one that goes against the inside of this wall, just make sure that's bent under or else it'll get in your way. Did get glue all over the place. Okay. All right, now we're going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue on that stripe right there. Just so I have that little extra bit of glide when it goes in. And then we'll do this. Okay, there goes that. Okay, so this is the side I was talking about. Just make sure that's tucked up so that when it goes under, it doesn't get in your way and cause your side not to fold in correctly. Okay, so you just want to make sure that this is adhering to the back by pressing down on it.
by the second one, it gets a little bit easier. So here we go with this one. Alright, I'm gonna fold that guy under. And then just press that down. I might need extra glue on this one. Okay, let's do this side. Fold that guy under and then just roll this whole thing down. Make sure that's tight. And that one went in very nicely. Okay. I think this one needs a little extra glue under there because it's not down as, like, I can tell it's not down tight enough by the, like, looseness in the corners. So you just want to have that down. And make sure that that's, you know, if it's like, what do you call it? I was gonna say puffy, but if there's like space here and you can see it, it just means that your thing isn't glued flat and it just needs a little extra glue there on the bottom. Okay, once this guy is ready to go, we're gonna move on and we'll make our shelves and then we will install them. Okay. Now we're going to glue our shelves, okay? And they look like these pieces, and we're going to make 4 of these, 2 for each bookshelf, okay? So, to start with, we are going to go ahead and glue these together. I'm going to try a new... Okay, so I redesigned these. Hopefully they work a little bit better. I'm not sure. I made this tab bigger. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and do that one first, okay? And then I will glue the back of the shelf. So the front of the shelf is going to be the smooth side, and then the back of the shelf will be the side that has the seam on it, okay? So we're going to do the same thing over here. Oops. There we go. And then we're just going to pop this guy in here. All right. And then just kind of take a look at that. Make sure everything is reasonably lined up. Just have like a big narrow box here. And then you're just going to fold one side in and then glue the other side over it. Okay? Just be gentle, because you just glued the side tabs, but it should hopefully all fold together like it was meant to go, like that. I think this is a way easier than my original. My dad was an engineer, but I'm not an engineer, so sometimes, but I think everything, like when you do things repeatedly over and over again, you get, you know, you make improvements. It's like, you know, I make subtle improvements each time. So, and since I made so many bookcases this time, I really had the opportunity to kind of think about this. All right. So I'm going to fold this guy over again. I'm going to try to do both of them this time. I tried to do this with the one I made last night, and it didn't go so well. But I think my new bigger tab situation is key to this assembly here. Okay, then just line up these sides. Just want to make sure that everything is reasonably square there. This is not lined up right. It's unfortunate. But it should not affect it. So we're going to do this one again. Just so you know that if you make a mistake, just pull it apart. You should be fine. You're not going to see that. Nobody's ever going to know what happened. So just, yeah, you can just pull it apart and rearrange it. I was hoping, like, sometimes the glue takes a second to grab, but this is pretty quick grabbing glue, so. You could use a more forgiving glue, too, as well. If you wanted to have a little extra time, you could use, like, a Fabri-Tac or something that doesn't grab, like, instantaneously. Most of the glue I use does grab pretty quick, like the Nuvo or the Art Glitter glue. Those both, you know, they grab pretty quick. Okay, so I've got that one done. Let's go ahead on to the next one here, and we'll do the same thing, and I will attempt to do a better job. I get 4 chances for this project, so I'm gonna fold this over. Oops. There we go. Line these guys up. I just want them to be as, like, straight as they possibly can be. So that my shelves are as straight as they possibly can be. Like, you know, not everything's going to be absolutely perfect, but, you know, just get it as close as you can, and everything should be fine once it goes together, because, like I said, there's redundancies, and there's, like, covers that go over the shelves. So, like, these are just our, like, basically our infrastructure, and not actually the shelf part that you're gonna see. Okay, so let's do this one. And I'm gonna fold these guys in, and then I'm gonna bring my top over. And then line this guy up. Oops, go all the way out. Just get that one. Alright, and then now we're just going to do the glue. Put that one in. I just want to make sure that's not going to pull away. I don't think it is. Whoa! I went a little crazy. I went a little crazy with the glue. Okay. I just want to make sure everything sticks and stays where it's supposed to be. Okay, so I have 4 shelves. Alright, so I am going to grab this guy first. This is right on my desk. And then I am going to pop these shelves in right where the guides are. It is really hard to see the seam, so just kind of take a close look, and you're just going to put them into, this is the actual bottom of the shelf, and this is the top. So you're just going to slide these guys in here. I'm going to glue them, but I always like to do a little test run first, because I want to make sure everything fits. You know, okay, that looks pretty good. And we're going to glue them, so hopefully they're going to be like straight and level. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. I'm just going to go ahead and do a real good job with the glue on the back here and on the sides.
Okay, and then I'm just going to slide it right in here. And just try to get it lined up with what's on the back there. Just so I know. And then I always keep a little magnetic level in here. So I'm just going to use that to make sure my bookcase shelf is reasonably straight before my glue sets here. I don't think it is. Let's try that. Yep, that's pretty straight. Okay. All right. Okay, now this one here. So I'm just gonna do a good job on the glue here so I have a little bit of, wiggle room, because it'll slide around better if there's like more glue. All right, I'm just gonna slide this in like right into where the lines are. It's weird because like I can see it lined up with the lines, but it still doesn't look straight to me, which is why I really like having a little level, because it just helps me know that it's where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that's that one. And now I'm going to grab the other one, and we're going to do that. Here we go. Okay, so we've got this guy, and then I've got another one. It's fun when you get to put all the pieces in. All right, so let's be nice and generous with the glue here. It could be a little snug, just so you know. I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be snug because I really want it to be, what do you call it? Sturdy and fit. It should just fit just perfectly. Oh, I messed mine up. You should make sure it's getting all the way to the back here. And then making contact on the sides. Oh, that is crooked. Now we're going to do the other one as well. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but I totally should have put glue on the back of this. I thought of it by the last one. Okay, so let's see here. All right, we're going to go ahead and glue this. And then I'm just going to go try. Oh, I forgot the sides. I'm just going to try to go straight down with the glue. Here we go. I'm going to check my... All right, there we go. That's pretty level, actually. I guess the less you fuss with it, the easier it will be to get it in there correctly. Okay. Okay, now that these are all assembled, these pieces right here, you're just going to hang on to. They're the pieces that are going to cover up the shelves here and just make everything look nice. But before, I'm not going to put these in right now. I'm going to wait until we're doing the actual, like, decorating and putting everything into the shelves before I put these on here, just in case I have some, you know, changes that I want to make or things that I want to accommodate. And also, when I did the Halloween bookcase, it was much easier to glue stuff to the back of this when they were outside
the bookcase, and then you can just stick everything in once it is decorated. So I'll show you all of that in the next video. But before this, we're done with this project here, we need to glue our backs onto these here. So your back will either be one of the pictures or one of just the flat green pieces that I mentioned earlier. So what I'm going to do here is ink around the edges of this because I don't want to see any white. There's already kind of a green border around it, but I don't want to see any white on there. And, you know, my cutting skills can vary to one way or the other. Okay, so that's that guy, and I'm going to do this one as well. And then we'll glue these guys down, and then we'll be done with this project. Well, this part of the project, actually. And then in the next video, we're going to move on to doing a little bit of decorating. Well, actually, okay, so we'll do we're going to create a couple of things, and then we'll be able to I'll show you how to put the book and the book boxes together as well. And then in the last video, we'll put everything on the bookshelf. So if you want, you could hold until the end to do this part. You don't need to do this right now. I'm pretty set on what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down now. But if you want to wait and see how things like shake out color-wise or whatever, you know, because I picked a lot of green for my outside. I just thought it'd be super pretty to have these on the outside. So, okay. That was my thinking there, but I'm going to go ahead and just really glue this really well, since this is my outside of my actual box. I'm going to actually put book corners on here as well, or actually they have like corners, like they have these little sets you can get on Amazon that are like for jewelry boxes, and some of them come with these like tri-corner things, and that's what I want to put on mine. I'll show them to you in a second. I'll actually go over in the next video anything that I'm going to add that isn't in the kit, but I want to mention these in this video because it specifically pertains to the bookcases. So, okay, so there's these kind here, which are like the 3-sided ones. And they can just go on the corner here, just like this. I think it's important for this particular project to have a little extra protection. So that's why I'm going to add these book corners on. They come in other styles too, though. You can also just get them in these flat styles. And these are, I believe this particular one is a Tim Holtz one. This is just something random that I got off of Amazon. So I'll look these up and definitely put them in the description so you know what supplies I used. But, you know, they come in different types. You want to make sure you don't get the type that has the back on it. Let me just grab these here. These book corners here, if you want to do this, you want to make sure it doesn't have the back on it here like this. You just want to make sure that it's open on the back here. And these ones are generally, like I said, a lot of times if you buy jewelry box hardware, this is what is going to come with it. Either this kind of corner or this kind of corner. Because it's made for not books. So that you're not, because like in a book, you're going to be like sliding your cover in the corner, right? But for this, you're not going to be doing that because it's, you know, 3-dimensional there. Okay, so let's put this back piece on now that I've given speech about book corners. Go. And you would need 16 for the whole project if you want to do in and out. They are not too bad on Amazon. I'll show you, you know, like I said in the beginning of in the next video, I'll show you a real quick rundown of the extra pieces that I'm going to use. Mostly it's just this hardware. And I'm also going to seal my bookcase overnight so that it is waterproof on the outside, which is going to take a while. So I'm not going to do that on camera because basically it's just going to be me putting some sealant on it so that it's protected. Alright, here we go. And this is going to go right on here, and it should fit pretty well. I'm super excited about how this looks. And then we can add some bits of decoration to this as well. One of the things I thought I might do is I have these little rhinestones, and I thought it might be fun to put rhinestones, like, you know, in the sky for stars, like little tiny ones. So that's one of my ideas, but I have a bunch of ideas, so I will go through those with you guys as we go through this whole process. But this, for now, is pretty done. I want to do a couple of things, including I want to do a little bit of inking on this because I kind of want the edges to look kind of like brown and kind of a little bit antique here. I'm going to do these like here. These are mostly you're not going to see because they're going to be covered, but I like to have it, you know, done here. Probably should use like a mini on this, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, and then I will see you guys very quickly in the next video to make all of our books and all the stuff that's going to go on our shelves.